Junior, you want to come over and say hi? Because I got the live streaming going. We ain't got nobody watching yet, but it's going.
Hi.
Who are you?
Little Sprout.
And who is this?
Papa Sprout.
Papa Sprout, Little Sprout. For anybody that may come in later and watch, and it's upside down. So it looks like we've got one viewer, whoever you may be. Hello, and if you don't mind saying hi, I'd appreciate it. All right, son, let's straighten ourselves out or go back over and watch that little show you've got going. Either one is fine with me. One deal.
See you later, everybody.
We'll be in and out throughout the day, I'm sure. So I'm kind of hoping a couple more people pop in, but I'm not stressed about it just the same. I hope everybody has a good week so far. I hope that everybody's prepared to hunker down and staying healthy. The Coronapocolypse is here, it seems like. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that because I'm sure that's what everybody's news feed and probably a lot of YouTube videos are about. And I said news feed, and that's Facebook. Yeah, I said it right. I don't know what the Twitter feeds are called, and the Reddit feeds, and the whatever else feeds. I don't know what any of them are called, but I'm sure that's all that's in everybody's feeds. Carotid. Yeah, I'm making fun of it. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Sorry, I'm trying to set something up over here on the side too. Forgive me, please. I beg for not being as prepared as I thought I was. I don't want to make light. I said I was making fun of the coronavirus and the outbreak. I don't want to make light of that. It's as if it's unimportant. It is important. Socially distance yourself, etc. Stay away from the elderly, especially if there's a secondary illness going on, such as asthma, COPD, or if they're smokers and whatnot. All that stuff's true. I don't want to take that away from the illness and the need to be safe, but let's quit being ridiculous, in my opinion.
3 of the Teen Titans Go Team.
Oh, I touched my face and I got the carotid.
We have to trust the Goblin guy.
Little Sprout, quiet down. Quit yelling. So, if you notice that the title of my live stream is sometimes you just get kicked in the teeth, or maybe I said it a little different. Sometimes you get kicked in the teeth. Many of those who follow Loma Acres Homestead notice that we've been absent for a couple of months. No regular videos, no live videos until last week. I did kind of a mini church service for those who their regular church decided not to have services, or they were too, out of abundance of caution, I about said too scared. I don't know if that's the right term or not, but out of an abundance of caution, they decided not to go to church, but they felt like they needed to be fed somehow. I wanted to offer that because I felt a message had been laid on my heart. And I think I'll keep doing that as long as this is going on. Would y'all excuse me just a moment? Tiny Tim over there, Little Sprout. We made the mistake of getting him some headphones, and he's taking full advantage of it. Take one out. Be quiet. You're yelling.
I'm singing.
Quit. I don't care if you sing a little bit, but be quiet about it. Sorry. He just turned 6 recently, and we got him I don't know what it's called. He calls it an iPod. It looks like an iPod, but it is by no means an actual iPod because he's a music kid. He loves music. And we just left him, or we gave him that, but he's over first headphones he's ever had in his life. And you remember how it was when you were little. You put in headphones and you had to talk really loud because you couldn't hear yourself, even though everybody else knew you were yelling. Well, that's where he's at in life right now. So, anyway, you all have noticed, if you follow us any kind of regular, that we've been absent. No regular videos, no live streams for a few months now. And let me just say I'm sorry about that. I gave a few people an explanation of what was going on, but I didn't tell everybody. And I'm going to give a little bit more of an explanation here, but I'm not going to tell every little detail. I know that I owe the name of the winners on our newlywed game. I owe the winners the announcement. I owe our keto collaboration the announcement. The end of 2000 family. And that's why I said sometimes you get kicked in the teeth in my title. And so now I'm getting geared up, so hopefully we can continue to move on. Looking over here at my side, it looks like it has passed. That's what I was setting up. I would like to know if I'm buffering or not. So these are things that I can get kind of emotional over. At the end of 2019, my grandmother passed away. And, a lot of times grandchildren aren't super involved. Well, a lot of times children are who take care of their parents' final arrangements. In my situation, I was a part of that. And I am both thankful and now I'm thankful, and there's still grief. There's always going to be grief. But we were all full of grief, trying to arrange my grandmother's funeral, and thankfully, she had pre-planned a lot of it. But I was there, and my brother was there, and that took a lot out of us. Just things we'd never experienced, and trying to continue with our lives. We were still trying to go to work to pay our own bills, but also be a part of, honoring our grandmother. And that took a lot. Okay, we're coming back and we'll get these videos. And now there's obviously other stuff in life happening, just regular life that's not outside of the normal, going to work, paying bills, making dinner at home, etc., etc. But as far as YouTube goes, okay, I'm getting ready to come back. I'm at a point answer to those collaborations. I mean, announce the winners and so on and so forth. And I had an accident at work, and it was one of the scariest. It is heavy work. Always has been. There's no question about that. And I sat what's called a header down. Now, for those who do not know, when building houses, everything is about how weight is held. If there is a hole for a window, you have to put something across the top of that hole over your head. That's why it's called a header. And if this specific wall is where weight comes down, so where your trusses on your roof sit on that wall, and those trusses are designed for that to be a weight-bearing point. You have to put in a weight-bearing header. And weight-bearing headers are generally made of two 2x10s turned on their side, or something bigger. Could be 2x12s. It could be what's called LVLs. My point being is they're pretty heavy. However, the ones I were using weren't all that heavy. I mean, they weren't light, but they were heavy. But anyway, I sat one down I had just been messing with. I took one step back and kind of, looking at the job, and I'm saying, okay, what's my next step here compared to what my guys are doing? And I stood up and I swiveled my head about like that, and I just went down. It felt like somebody hit me right in the spine with a hammer. Problem, the only person that was there that could have done it other than me was way over that way compared to me. He couldn't hit me in the back. I don't know what happened as far as that, but I couldn't even push myself off the ground with my hands and arms. I mean, I was hurting a millimeter of movement, and it was just excruciating. I don't know how else to explain it. And I said millimeter because that's the smallest unit of length I know. If I moved at all, it was excruciating. I laid on the ground for probably an hour and a half before I said to myself that I had to make a decision to either force myself up and into my truck and have my employee drive me to work, or I had to call a squad. Getting ready to get loud. I got a herd of dogs coming down. So I do apologize for background noise there. Anyway, I did finally force myself up, and I'm not going to explain the great details, but I made it to my truck. And my guy drove me to work, drove me to the hospital. And about 3 hours later, several different medications later, x-rays later, etc., found that there was no breaks in my spine, thankfully. So we don't know what caused the pain, but we can tell by the way you're acting, and I could tell too. I was feeling significantly better. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I went into the hospital, they asked me on a scale of 1 to 10 what was my pain, and I told them about 18.5 because I had never hurt that bad in my life. But when I got to leave the hospital, I was down to, I went out in a wheelchair, but and there we go, more unstable internet connection. I hope it's not too bad. I don't know what's going on. We've been having a lot of internet problems here, so, which is crazy because we're still in the city where we're supposed to have great internet. Okay, so more doctor's appointments and follow-ups and finding out and more tests to find out what is going on with my back, because I got to that 8.5 and I just stayed there. So I went through tests and back to the doctor that ordered these tests, and I have 2 herniated discs in my back. What is called concentric, which means they flatten out like a pancake. They didn't just blow out one side. Thankfully, however, and let me tell you, super duper thankfully, I can't say enough about how thankful I am for the fact that these herniations did not get into the nerves. Be a little less than like chiropractic manipulation. Like I said, a little more than massage, a little less chiropractic manipulation, and I feel a lot better. On that same 1 to 10 scale, I'm averaging about a 2. And I am back to work. And that's as of now, I'm feeling that about it too. I actually went back to work a bit ago, at a pain level between 2 and 4. So, all right, I'm getting recovered from that. And as far as YouTube's concerned, I'm ready to get these videos up and get these announcements made and get these winners their prize and have another death in the family. And again, I don't want to give any details about this other than to say it was where did this come from? This person wasn't sick as far as we knew.
Ice cream had come with me.
And it's still pretty hard to talk. I was shocked. But when sometimes when you get kicked in the teeth, you have to take a few minutes to heal up. And that's what's happened. So we're trying to get life back to normal. And we're going to press through. So this week, I'm going to say Tuesday, but it very well may be Wednesday before it's up. We're going to film on Tuesday. And the first thing we're going to film is the announcement for who reference to the Newlywed Challenge Baker's Creek Edition or Seed Edition. The playlist is on my page, on my list of playlists, and so I don't remember exactly what I called it. And then some of the videos within it called things differently. Yes, sir. Momo is something you better never watch. Never. Ever. It's bad, okay? That's the first one. The second of it, so we're going to record that on Tuesday, and depending on how long it takes to edit it, it may be Wednesday before it comes up. Another video I'm going to get up this week is an announcement of the winner of the keto challenge that we had going. To those of you who were a part of either one of those collaborations, I cannot thank you enough, and I cannot thank you enough. Well, let me separate that. Number one, I cannot thank you enough for being a part of it. Equally, I cannot thank you enough for the patience that you've had with it. To those of you whom I have said or gave my word or promised or however you want to put it, that I will make a video to be a part of one of your collaborations. Again, I apologize for how long it's taken. They're coming very soon too. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so what's everybody doing because of the Coronapocolypse?
Coronapocolypse?
The Coronapocolypse. That's what Daddy's calling it. Because
it's called coronavirus.
Yes, it is called the coronavirus. Little Sprout's pretty particular. Turn it down. What are we doing? We're doing our best to socially distance ourselves. Unfortunately, we haven't been very successful at that. What I mean is, I have had to go to the store. You need to quit yelling. I've had to go to the store every day because there's a few things that we need here. I mean, we do our best to keep enough on hands to last a couple of weeks because that's how we get paid bi-weekly. And, I'll go to the store and buy 2 weeks worth of stuff of what we need. And when I went to the store after getting paid this time, everything was already gone. Um, and I can't tell you the sense of panic I felt in people. Um, and I've said this on other people's videos by way of comments on their regular videos, by way of comments on their lives, talked to some people on Facebook about it. For me, the virus isn't that scary. Again, go back to what I said at the beginning. You don't want to be stupid about it. If you get it or if you're exposed to it, stay away from people, etc. Stay away from your grandparents or your parents. But it's not worth, freaking out over and oh my God, the whole world's going to end. What I'm worried about is exactly what happened is the people going out and panic buying and overloading the supply chain where they can't get things regulated. And that's what seems to be happening. They can't get things regulated because just as soon, depending on what store you go to, and not only that, what location you're in. In my town, we have 3 what I call big box grocery stores. And I call them that because I really don't want to give, remember, free advertisement. So if I go to big box store 1 here, they maybe have a limit of 2 of a given item. But if I go to the same big box store 1, 2 or 3 towns over, they may have a limit of 5. And what may have a limit of 5 today, tomorrow you go in there and it may be a limit of 2. I mean, they're changing things and they're changing their hours and okay, so you got limits and then people still go in there and buy 2, 3, 10 times as much of what the limit is, and they're not doing anything about it. The stores aren't doing anything about it. They're just making it into separate transactions. So I can't get any toilet paper. I'm just using that as an example. It's not something I'm worried about. That's what scares me because people are going to be dumb and they're going to keep being dumb, and then other people are going to do without and they're not going to know what to do. And that's what I'm scared of. And I say scared, I mean, I'm not shaking out of my boots. I'm not barring my windows and I'm not doing stuff like that scared. I see the fear and I know how people can act when they get scared. And I'm a little leery of that. So what can we do on our homestead that is right in the middle of town? Okay, not in the middle of town, but it's in the city limits. What can we do to keep moving forward? That's a good way to put it, I think. What can we do to keep moving forward? In my growing zone, it's still too early to put very much at all in the ground. There can be a couple things in the ground, but it's still pretty early. However, what it's not too early for is to put some things just inside starting. So that's where we're at. We're starting some things on the inside. I have went out and, last year I didn't have a fence around my garden and my dogs got in there and started tearing things up. I mean, it wasn't too bad. Of course, the more than anything, last year's failures was due to the crazy weather we had. And man, we had some crazy weather. But it was due to the crazy weather combined with my lack of tending. So the first thing we've done is fenced off our garden area, and the little bit the dogs tore up last year won't be tore up by them this year. The next thing that I've done is I have secured a supply of natural fertilizer, more commonly known as horse manure. And we'll get that on the garden plot this weekend and throughout the week. let me put it that way. Throughout the week, we'll get that on the garden plot. Next weekend, we'll get it tilled in. And I'll get the things in the ground that are safe to be in the ground. I'll get more things started on the inside. By next weekend, might be just a little early for those things I've got going on the inside now to go in the ground, but it may not be. So what can safely go out there will go out. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like you're doing anything different for this time of year for where I live. So we're preparing for the Coronapocolypse by living normal life, just staying somewhat away from people as best as we can. I was in my mom's town earlier this week, and I called my mom and asked if she needed anything from the store, and she said no, but would you come over and I'll feed you lunch? And I said no. No? You don't want to eat? It's not that I don't want to eat, Mom. It's not that I don't love you, Mom. It's not that I don't want to see you, Mom.
I don't want to eat, Mom, either.
It's that, Mom, you're of an age that you need to be more careful. Mom's got some other medical issues that, and I don't want to be responsible for bringing this malarkey to her. My wife, working in the medical field, as much as they use their personal protective equipment, it's just a higher risk for us to have it. And I don't want to be responsible for taking it to my mom. My mom lives in an apartment building with a lot of other elderly people, a lot older than her and a lot more sick than her. I don't want to be responsible for taking this virus into that apartment complex. But what if Mom needed something? Well, listen, my opinion, it is a lot different for me to be bringing a bag of groceries over to my mom's house that she might need than it is for me to go in there and just visit. Because if I bring a bag of groceries, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to set the groceries down and say, Mom, love you and hope this is everything you need. I got to go. You can't be getting sick. And drop it off and out. As opposed to sitting there, having lunch, chit-chatting, looking at each other, breathing in each other's direction for more than a minute. Whole different story. For the record, I called my grandmother, my only living grandmother that's left, the same day. Asked her the same thing. She offered me, come over, I'll feed you lunch. Nah, Grandma.
Is Chucky around the house?
I just am doing what I can to both make sure that my people are taken care of, but not going when I shouldn't, when it's not needed. That's what we're doing for the Coronapocolypse. We're living life. I think that's what most people in our niche are doing, our YouTube niche, homesteading. They're just living life. It's moving on as usual. So, y'all, Homemakers Homestead is back. We apologize for the delay and everything. We're going to be making our videos this week, and we'll be back live tomorrow again. I'm going to go ahead and wait until 10:30 tomorrow. I know that I have some things going in the morning, and it may be really tough for me to get on by 10, but that extra half hour waiting until 10:30 will make a big difference. I hope everybody is prepared. I don't know what else to say. I hope everybody's prepared for anything that may come related to the Coronapocolypse. And just take some time and be at home. Take some time and rest. If you're a person that goes off Homestead every day, You still do your homestead X, Y, and Z, whatever your specific homestead chores, homestead related work may be, but you have to go off and work every day. But because of this virus, your work has your offsite work is closed down. Take some time and rest. Relax. Take a vacation. That's something in general, in very general, men have a harder time doing than women. But that doesn't take anything away from women. And I gotta be careful how I say things. I don't want any backlash from any community. Oh my God, you misogynist or you racist or whatever. It's not the case. I'm just saying, if you look at life, if you look at Earth in general, men have a harder time not doing anything. Take and rest. Because men are natural born providers. Again, take absolutely nothing away from women. Because I know a lot of women who have a hard time just sitting still and doing nothing. But guys and gals, if you can, take a half-hour nap in the middle of it, do something, take rest, but also take the time and do a little extra on your homestead. Man, I've been wanting to build that chicken coop so I can finally have chicken. It's been 10 years I've been trying to do that thing. Hey, you off work for a couple of weeks. Do it. And then I'm just using that as an example, obviously. Take some time to educate yourself on something. Watch some videos, read some books. There's a lot of Joel Salatin books that, man, I've been wanting to get to. I got 2 of them sitting right over here off to my left that I bet I get read. Because here's the deal: is I'm still going to work. I'm doing that because one of my employees lives with me, so there ain't gonna be any difference between me and him working together or staying at home together. And the house we're presently working on is unoccupied. We don't have a lot of time left on that specific job. I'm not starting my next 2 jobs or my next 3 jobs. All have people living in the house. I'm just not starting them. I don't want that chance. All of them have elderly, by elderly, and it sounds bad, but they're over 60. And I just don't want to be a part of bringing them some of this stuff. And they're the kinds that won't just stay in their house. They want to come out and see what's going on, talk to you. And I understand wanting to know. It is my house, and I'm having some work done on it. I want to know what's going on. I get that. Therefore, I'm not coming and opening your house up to the weather. I'm not going to chance you coming out and wanting to chit chat when I have the chance of carrying that virus. So we're going to be spending some time at home, I'm sure. And I would add to the more reasoning as to why we may not be working is we're having a hard time already getting supplies on the house we are working on because all the drivers of the local lumber yards are calling off because of the coronavirus. So it looks like we're going to have some time at home. Could be wrong. Hopefully it changes, but that's what it looks like. But if I have that, I'm going to do my homestead chores for the time of the year it is. And I'm going to take some time and I'm going to catch up on some books. I'm going to take some time and I'm going to catch up on some rest. I'm going to probably take some time and get some official exercises. You know, I go to work every day and I work out on my homestead every day, and that's working out. But it's not official calisthenics, you know. Why not? Rest and eat healthy, stay away from people when you can, etc., etc. So I have been on here for 37 minutes almost. I've got 1 viewer other than myself, maybe the same person the whole time. I don't know. Nobody said anything. Anybody who comes later, when this is just on the YouTube and you find it, you watch the whole thing through, hey, thanks for being here. Whoever is here, thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I'm sure that most people are on the virtual gathering that Deep South Homestead is having. I think that's a wonderful idea, what they've done. Um, in fact, I debated on not coming on today live because of that. But I did tell everybody Sunday when I did the mini church service that I'd be here today, so I'm here. I appreciate you again for being here. Anybody who's watched after the fact, I appreciate you always. No matter what life has fed you, there's something to be thankful for. Please remember that as you remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. And we will see you next time. Thank you.